Welcome to the Rochester Real Estate Show. Jason Mancuso with the Anthony Butera team, and joined again by Steve Popowych.
How's it going?
Of the Anthony Butera team. How are you?
Good.
Good. We'll continue with the topic. I mean, why wouldn't we, right? I mean, it's the topic of the industry. Last episode we had our one of our loan officer at Premium Mortgage, Lisa Roberts, on, really kind of giving some insight and some essentially almost like tricks, right? To how to combat this high interest rate environment that we're in and that we're going to remain in, right? I mean, it's like I said, it's the topic of the industry. It's a big topic of the economy as a whole, so it's just dominating the news. When it comes to real estate, in terms of everything that's happening, happening essentially as a result of higher interest rates.
Absolutely.
So, we should spend multiple episodes, focused on it, because
absolutely,
it's important to understand like the ins and outs of it. So, what are you seeing out there right now? Like what's going on with the conversations you're having with your clients, people you're working with? What's a general sentiment?
Well, I think the first question always is, what are rates?
Sure.
That's the big thing.
Yeah. Well, and it's just a correlation, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's like, news or however people are consuming their information.
Yeah.
And again, it's the topic. So then when we get in a conversation, it's like, the rates are better. What's the rate right now, right?
What is the rate? Yeah. And a lot of the people I'm talking to are renting, looking to buy. And these people, I always start the conversation kind of with, how much are you paying a month in rent? Let's say that's $1,500. I mean, that's probably an average rent right now, if not more.
Yeah,
right?
No, I mean, I think that's probably a good average across the board, like accounting for smaller units, different locations, etc. But for sure, I think that's fair for probably a minimal average, like you said, in our market. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So $1,500, I'm paying $1,500 a month. Okay, what's your budget for a home? $1,700. I can go up a little bit. I'm building equity within myself. I can go up a little bit more for that home. And okay, if the budget's $1,700 a month and you're spending $1,500 on rent, why aren't you buying? Why aren't you putting that money back into yourself?
So, and you're coming from the perspective with that of like, I get it. The rates are higher.
Yeah.
Like, it's important for people to understand. None of our there's no tactic on our end to to try to push people, right?
No,
that's not what this is about.
No,
this plays into like what you're saying. Like, why wouldn't you build something for yourself in terms of having equity versus
absolutely
no shot at it with renting?
Absolutely. God forbid something happens to you in 10 years and you own a home. You've got funds you can pull out of it.
Yeah.
It just makes sense.
It's a nest egg for a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's an asset.
Absolutely.
It's an equitable asset.
Absolutely.
Like
Absolutely.
owning a home. Yeah. So, I think before we dive into like current times, let's hit the rewind button real quick and recap really for the last decade. Coming off the mess of 2007, 2008 and the recession from there, rates fives went to 4, 6, 5, 4. We were high threes, low fours for a good chunk of the last decade of the 2010s or whatever it's called.
For sure.
What is that called? 2010s?
2010s? 20, yeah. I guess they are the 2010s.
20 teens?
Yeah, 20 teens,
So, and when you look at just like the chart of the 30, 40-year run of interest rates, like those numbers in the fours and even at 5
crazy
are low.
Yeah.
Crazy low.
Crazy low.
And generally speaking, 6, 7 kind of ends up being the overall average of, the grand scheme of things.
Still low, figuratively speaking.
Well, yeah, because there's, in the 80s, there was just the entire decade there spent in the double digits for the most part.
Absolutely.
Now, okay, I get it. You can immediately turn to
prices of homes.
Yeah,
blah,
this
blah, blah.
house price, the same house price now compared to what it was
For
in
sure.
'80 is, hundreds of thousands of dollars less.
Absolutely.
Cost of living a lot less.
Oh, yeah.
Just everything less.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
But, it's just important to understand the history of things and then, like, bringing it into current times. Like, just, especially the last 5 years. So now we're in, like, 4 at the maximum. I mean, there was, what was it? It was it the winter? It was the fall pre-COVID.
Pre-COVID, yeah.
So 2019 where they jumped.
They did.
Like just for like it was like a
4.8.
it was like a 3-4 month span,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And jumped near 5.
Yep.
But then COVID and then like just the I don't know that a lot of people have referred to it as the stimulation.
Yep.
But that's like coming off the last recession. That's what they're like. Let's stimulate things, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So, and just looking at rates in 2s, literally 3s at common.
15 years for 2.
High 2s for a 30-year mortgage, low 2s for 15. It's
Crazy.
insane. That's basically free money.
It's free money.
Right?
It is, yeah.
So, decisions being made in the last few years with the catalyst of a super low interest rate was definitely a thing.
Oh, for sure. 100%.
I've said it on this show. I say it all the time. Like, there's been a lot of, people that have bought or sold a home just out of, like, luxury in the last few years.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I don't really need to, but
Might as well.
this rate's so low.
Why wouldn't I?
Might as well. And I can, I can afford it. Is hopefully what they're, having the analytics to back the decision up. Right?
For sure. Absolutely.
So, just a lot easier to make a decision.
No,
when the rate's substantially lower.
Absolutely.
Right? Fast forward.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Rates are on the rise.
Rates been on the rise all year. We're in the 7s right now. I mean, depending, so it's a very strong profile, 15-year term, stuff like that. Maybe in high 6s, but generally speaking, hovering around 7. Fluctuating 7.25, 7.5 potentially, depending on what it is. So right around there, and I mean, look at it's early November right now when we're taping this. I'm not going to sit here and say that I expect it to stay there.
No way.
We don't have any idea. I mean, I could sit here and say, like, hey, get ready for 10, and that may not happen.
Wow.
But it very well could.
I mean, I think potentially, yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially when, I saw out by me 20-cent gas price rise overnight.
Yeah.
I mean, why wouldn't it?
Right.
I mean, it just makes sense.
And, a lot will be determined, like, taping this today, but tomorrow, like, there's the inflation data coming out. So if that comes out positive, then maybe we're on the right track. Maybe everything that's the buttons that are being pushed,
maybe.
Hopefully it's working.
I'm hoping.
But we can't sit here and say, like, okay, it's just going to remain at 7.
Yeah.
I guess the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, optimistically, hopefully this is the maximum and it just kind of tethers down from here. I don't think it's going to go back to 3.
Yeah.
I actually know it's not going to go back to 3 anytime soon. But if we could settle in, like, in the 5s for a long-term stretch for the next decade or so.
Be great.
I think people have to understand, like, that's a good scenario.
Absolutely.
To settle in like 5 versus even settling in at 7, 8.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
That's kind of like shift gears as a consumer, right? Like, just assume the days of 2-3% interest rate for a mortgage long gone. So with that said, we're in the 7s right now.
Yep.
And you can wear the lens of comparatively speaking to say, well, okay, my payment would have been this last year compared to what it is now, and you drive yourself nuts.
Well, you can,
right?
Yeah, you could, but you could do that with rent too. I mean,
sure.
I mean, and this is where I think people get lost, right? The news is rates, right? Yeah, they're up, sure. So's rent. Look at how much rent's up. Look at how much rent is up.
It's true.
It crushes the rate. And It's just
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, everything's situational, right?
Yeah.
But generally speaking, like, and we're in Rochester, New York,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So, and even Buffalo down the road
Yeah.
is going to be a different market.
For sure.
Slightly different conversation.
Absolutely.
At least in terms of, the actual cost and whatnot.
Yeah.
But, like, yeah, if the house you're renting, frankly, is only $1,500, okay,
It's
right?
hard, but yeah, okay.
Right.
I think you're like a double, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's just like, if you're I guess $1,500 is like, an apartment type
Yeah, you want a whole
or a
house.
very small whole house.
Absolutely. You want a whole house, you're looking 2,000 plus.
Right. So let's just take that example of the house that's a whole house, say suburban school district, 3-bedroom house,
Yeah.
$2,000 a month. Chances are, and this is where it's not just like tried and true across the board, but chances are you can still own that home even with the higher interest rate for less than $2,000.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that's without putting,
yeah.
hundreds of thousands of dollars or anything crazy. As
Move-in
down
ready,
payment.
nice home, right?
Right.
Yeah. No, absolutely 100%.
Now, I'm not here to say like it's only going to be 1,000. That's what it may have been last year.
Yeah, now it might be a little more, but
It's definitely going to be more. But there's still, I guess the argument is like on the rental side of the conversation, even if it's 1950 or even if it's 2,000,
you're still putting equity in yourself.
Yeah, buy that home at $2,000 a month payment
Absolutely.
versus renting it
Why wouldn't you?
if you can.
Why? Yeah, why wouldn't you?
Well, the why wouldn't would be like I plan on moving out of state in the next year, or there's not enough stability in order to do that, right?
Yeah.
I guess renting
Yeah.
renting provides like the flexibility of not having a stable situation.
I see that. Yeah, you're right.
It's kind of a way to define where you should rent,
For sure.
right?
Yeah.
Because it's not all again, this isn't a tactic type conversation.
No, absolutely
as a
not.
realtor.
Yeah.
This is like practical with life, and
Yeah.
there are a lot of practical scenarios where it's like, go ahead and rent. I don't want you to buy based on what you're telling me.
And some people, they're not ready to buy.
Sure.
I talk to a lot of people like that.
Well, yeah.
Not ready.
I mean, and that's a conversation. You don't have the landlord to call anymore when the sink's leaking or the toilet.
For sure.
Like, you gotta figure this out,
You better call a plumber and get it real handy on YouTube.
right?
You know?
I mean, and this is where like, okay, one that's thinking through things would make the argument of, well, I need to have a higher monthly budget to account for this stuff. Yeah,
For sure.
you should.
Yeah.
But it's not always going to go wrong. And again,
No, it's not
the
every
key
month.
here is like you have the shot of equity versus no shot.
Yeah. Like you
So-
said, the asset.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You have an asset.
Yep.
Sure. The bank owns the majority of it till you pay down the loan.
But that's okay.
Right. Yeah.
You still own a part of that.
Yeah.
That's huge.
It's a good thing. So
Yeah.
all right. Aside from the renting, conversation, now it's like I think it's just important for everybody to understand, like in our eyes, representing somebody or advising somebody, consulting with somebody,
Yeah.
like really the process hasn't changed.
No.
Like whether rates are at an all-time low or at an all-time high.
No.
Don't get me wrong, like it's relevant what
Yeah.
the interest rate is.
Yeah.
But like the process of starting out and figuring out what to do really hasn't changed.
Yeah. What's the budget? Let's figure out what fits in that budget.
Yeah.
That's it.
Period.
It's that simple.
It's
It's that
in
easy.
any market, it's what are you financially comfortable with?
Yeah.
And let's find a house that you like.
Yeah.
And I've had to say it that way
Yeah.
in terms of using the word like
Yes.
in the market of the past few years.
Yes.
Because like I can't sit here and guarantee that you're gonna buy your dream home
Exactly.
in this market that
Yep.
we've been in. And really still the same case, and
sure.
without getting too deep into the weeds, but like we're still in this low inventory or lack of inventory environment.
Yeah.
So there's just not 10 homes for you to choose from.
For sure.
We haven't, don't get me wrong, the market's cooling and shifting, but we haven't shifted to a hard buyer's market.
No, not at all. I mean, the news makes it sound that way.
Yeah.
But it's not
because
true.
It's doom and gloom because the news is focused on the interest rates as it should.
Exactly.
But they don't get into the conversations. And that's typical news, right?
Yeah.
Here's the negative. Do with it what you will.
Here's your 30-second clip, right? Yeah.
We're here to be like, here's the negative.
Yeah.
It sucks that interest rates are 7+%.
Yeah.
Not here to argue that.
No.
Right?
Not at all. Yeah.
The point that we're trying to make is like, let's figure out where you're comfortable with financially.
Yeah.
And then see if the rate and the loan options that you
Yeah.
have can
that.
fit into that.
When I think that's the conversation, even when rates were at 3,
Yeah, that's
that we were. I mean, I know I was having them with people. What's the monthly budget?
Yeah.
What homes fit into that budget? Do you like these homes? Do you not? If you don't, maybe wait.
That's the beauty of like, don't get me wrong, we have to adjust in our profession, but like the overall concept of how we're running our business and trying to help people out remains the same.
Yeah.
Because it starts with, again, what are you comfortable with financially?
Yeah.
That's the way I phrase it. And that, like, to get specific, that's like, tell me where you want to be per month.
Yeah.
I tell people, like, think of it as a rent payment.
Yeah.
Because most times you have your property taxes, and a lot of times your homeowner's insurance too.
It's already tied in.
Escrowed into the monthly payment.
Absolutely.
So you're just cutting one check to the bank every month.
Covers
And
everything.
then they take care of the rest.
Yeah.
They pay your taxes, they pay your insurance.
Yeah.
If your insurance isn't tied in, okay, $50 a month.
Now,
or
some
whatever.
people don't like that. But,
Yeah, sure.
I mean, in there are certain circumstances. It's not the average buyer's escrowed.
Either way, it's all a zero-sum game,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
Because if you're paying your taxes quarterly and your monthly payment is that much lower, like, make sure you're budgeting for your property taxes.
I was
right?
gonna say, well, most people, that's what they're doing, is they're just sticking it in their personal bank account instead of the bank's bank account.
Correct.
And
there's
essentially,
there's reasons why like people have that concern or that
For sure.
position, and
For sure.
I get it. For most people, it's like there's value in convenience, and I don't have to worry about not being delinquent on my taxes, and then may as well.
exactly, absolutely,
So, like think of it as a rent payment.
Yeah.
What do you want to spend per month to own a home? Know that you're going to have to deal with the repairs.
Yep.
The heat's not working in the winter, like, you're going to have to come out of pocket a few $100s to get it fixed or potentially replace your furnace. Yeah. Now, going, again, into the weeds, like, this is what we do as representing you, is to give you the synopsis of, like, hey, here's, like, let's look at all these items that are going to come up with the house.
Absolutely.
And make sure you're comfortable with that. Like, hey, you're probably going to have to put a roof on 5 years from now.
That's exactly what I was
It's
going
going
to
to
say.
cost you $15,000.
Yep.
Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
If you're not,
let's look at a different one.
let's get out of here. Right?
And that's the conversation we have with, I know I have with all my buyers, monthly payment, cash needed to close, right?
Yep.
That estimate based on what your bank told you.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because we don't give a cash to close estimate, the bank does.
Well, yeah.
And then
go ahead.
And then when we're walking through the house, what repairs need to be done?
Sure.
A furnace, hot water heater, how much do those cost?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All that stuff.
Yeah.
My phone rings.
Good. It's a good thing. And like I take it a step further to where, like, I like to me the very and this is where just the beauty of this just adds up to where the process on our end hasn't really changed. First step to the process overall, like you're thinking of making a move or you're thinking of buying your first home.
Yep.
Don't do anything else. Don't go to a bank
Yep.
yet.
Yeah.
You sit down, figure out the life budget, figure out what you want to spend per month to own a home.
Yep.
Knowing that, all this stuff that you're going to be responsible for.
For sure.
Like, utilities, cable stuff, internet, stuff like that is obvious. You probably have those bills if you're renting too.
Yeah.
You pick up a water bill.
Yes.
$30-$40 a month.
Yep.
I look at that homeowner's insurance type thing as into that monthly payment.
Yeah.
But just go through the budget. Here's
Absolutely.
where I want to be to own a home per month.
Yeah.
$1,200, $2,000,
Yep.
$5,000,
Yep.
whatever it is. There's no right or wrong answer to it.
When you'd be shocked how many people we talk to that have not done that.
Yeah.
It's easily 80% of the people.
Well-
You ask them that question, silence.
Yeah.
They're like thinking about it, because they haven't done it,
And that's good, and that's why we're here to make
Yeah.
sure that we get the wheels turning, because it's
For
easy
sure.
enough to like get excited about this.
Oh, absolutely.
and kind of skip over that financial part.
Absolutely.
Question 2 in that conversation is, hey, I'm not asking what your life savings is, but what do you have set aside that you want to use in
Yeah.
cash to buy a home with?
Yeah, and it's
And frankly, don't have it be your life savings.
yeah, and for a lot of people, it's an uncomfortable question to
Yeah.
ask. I mean, especially when you just met somebody you don't
Yep.
know, right? Like they come from somewhere, like a referral to you from a friend, and you've never met this person before, and
Right.
you're
asking about their finances.
You're
and
asking
stuff.
about
Yeah.
how much money do you have saved? You know what I mean? We're not doing that because we are qualifying you as a buyer. We're doing that to see what position we need to put you in to get you into the home that you want.
Right.
We're not qualifying you saying, oh, I don't want to work with this person because they only have $5,000 saved.
Right.
We're saying, okay, we know they only have $5,000 saved. What can we do to either get them saving or get them,
Right.
a concession to cover some of this closing costs?
Right, because then it
which
goes
home
in-
works?
Yeah, because
you
it
know?
goes into their needs. Like if they,
For sure.
that example, like if I need to do something now, then it's like, okay, here's our options. We
Yep.
got to get you a grant. We got to get you some concessions.
Exactly.
Therefore, we need to be looking here.
Yep. Absolutely.
Or
These homes, or this home, or
yeah,
So the scenario plays out totally different based on everybody.
It's a custom fit for everyone.
For
It's
sure.
not a one size fits all process.
Absolutely.
The opposite of what we just talked about is like, okay, I got $5,000 saved now. My lease isn't expiring until next fall.
Yeah.
I'm expecting to be able to save $10,000 to go towards a house in the next
Yeah.
6 months, 8 months, whatever.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Where do you want to live?
Right. Let's
You know?
now talk. So now step 1A or step 2 is
Yeah.
okay. Hey, let's talk with a lender. You tell them what you just told me.
Yep.
Or what you determined.
Yep.
I want to be $2,000 a month. I'm
Yep.
going to have $10,000 saved by the
Absolutely.
time I'm ready to do this. Whatever the numbers are.
Yeah.
I always tell people there's not a right or wrong answer. To these
No,
questions.
there's not. It's
You got to make sure that you're good with it.
it's the truth. It's got to be the truth answer, right? Then it's got to be
You
what
got to be
really,
truthful for yourself.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need to lie to me to try
Yeah.
to like make me think that you have
Yeah.
more money than you're comfortable
Exactly.
with or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You just got to shoot yourself straight. So
Exactly.
Then you can bring that to the lender and say, look
Yes.
at what are my options. I want to be at $2,000 a month.
Yep.
I got $10,000 saved.
Yep.
I'm looking this side of town because the lender will be familiar with taxes and stuff.
That's the key
and
right
then,
there. Yeah.
And then they tell you,
Yeah.
okay, good news, you're approved. Everything looks clean,
Yep.
qualified.
Yep.
Based on what you're telling me, where you want to be per month.
Yep.
Look in this price range.
150. Here's the tax rate in that town. Here's how much in taxes you can afford.
Right.
And a lot of times we see people, and this is why, having Lisa here yesterday at Premium, their quick qual app is so great because the taxes change a lot from town to town, right? And
Right.
that tax rate changes. So if you tell us Greece originally, next thing we know, you're looking at Hilton.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's plug in those taxes and see how it affects your monthly payment because it makes a big change.
Well, and also there's current taxes versus like,
what they're going to be at.
do we
Yeah.
plan for a worst case scenario on a
course you do.
reassessment or increase?
Of course you do.
Right.
You always do. And it's a conversation I know I have with every single
That's
one
another
of my buyers.
layer of this.
Yeah,
like, going
absolutely.
down the rabbit hole. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's important. So that's why
Yeah.
I guess point being is okay. Sure, with whatever budget last year, you may have been able to afford a $200,000 home.
Okay.
Like say your monthly payment budget hasn't increased
Yeah.
in the over the last year.
Okay.
And the rate has.
Yeah.
Sure. Your $200,000 home that you were
Now you're
targeting
160.
last year, yeah, maybe
Maybe one.
160, 175,
Yeah.
150.
Yeah. Somewhere in there. Who knows, right? A lot of variables. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's the way to look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's the practical scenario. It may be that you don't want to buy the homes that are available to you at 160,000.
Okay.
Okay, no problem. Listen,
Cool.
at least we went through this exercise so that you know where you stand.
Yeah.
So that if things get urgent, you know what you're looking at.
Yeah.
And maybe by that time, maybe the rates decrease a point, and maybe
And-
now
and-
160 is
Yeah,
175. Whatever
absolutely,
it is, right?
absolutely.
Throwing out round numbers. And, you just aren't making the decisions
Yeah.
based on, well, rate doubled,
Yeah.
not a good time to buy.
Yeah. And you,
Because don't get me wrong, like, again, this isn't a tactic or a ploy to just be like, hey, great time to buy out there.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact of the matter is the interest rates have doubled and pricing hasn't really come down, and there's still
Absolutely.
a lack of inventory.
For sure.
So I'm not telling you like it's
Yes.
an awesome time to buy. I mean,
Yeah.
the data just came out this week, and I don't know how the hell they get this, but consumer home buying sentiment
yep.
like is at an all-time low.
I believe it.
Most people think it's not a great time to
Yeah.
buy. I'm not here to argue that.
We're seeing it.
Right.
I mean,
it's just
you know?
like how many people are actually that if you took that survey and answered that,
Yeah.
how many people are actually thinking like this
Yeah.
and going through that exercise of like, okay, $2,000 a month at now a higher
Yes.
interest rate, I can actually still get a home that I'm happy with.
Absolutely.
And especially in the case where it's like I'm renting and doing nothing.
Especially when you're a first time home buyer, right?
Right. Or, I mean,
Yeah.
just, the existing homeowner that's got a 2-bedroom and they got 2 kids
yeah.
crammed into it and a family of 4.
They
and
need a 3-bedroom or
would
4.
really rather have a bigger home.
Yeah.
And just rather than making assumptions based on, well,
Rates are up. Shouldn't
rates
buy.
are higher, can't do it.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not here to say like it's a no-brainer, but
Yeah. And, I was going to touch back to what you said about, now you can only afford 175. You better believe that I have a list of people that are like, I don't like those homes at 175, Steve. I really want to be 200 plus. If that rate dropped tomorrow, I'm picking up the phone. I'm calling every single one of them.
right.
Let's go look.
Hey, here's what happened.
Yeah.
Hey, here's the
Yeah.
numbers.
Absolutely.
Hey,
Yeah.
here's the homes
yeah.
available in this price
Yeah.
range.
I'm
Like,
getting hold of Lisa. I'm saying, how much does it change the payment? Is it still fall in their budget?
right.
If it does, I'm calling.
Overall summary is just
Yeah.
like let's look at things in detail
Absolutely.
versus just assuming it's
Absolutely.
not going to work.
For sure.
Again, it may not work.
It may not.
for various reasons.
Yeah.
But
But if there's a need,
yeah, and we've discussed this. Like the market has shifted to where those that need to do something are the ones that are in the market,
for sure.
which makes total sense, and I can't argue.
Absolutely.
I mean, me personally, if I didn't need to make a move, I wouldn't be thinking about it right now.
I hear you. Yeah. Why would you?
I mean, I'm coming from the perspective, like, settled into my home, everything's
Yeah.
fine.
Killer backyard.
There's no need to,
Yeah. Yeah.
but, there's just always plenty of people that have the reasons
But if you had a
that
life
create
change,
the need. Like, yeah.
if you had a life change, you would make that move if you had to right now.
If I had to make a
Yeah.
move, I would at least
Yeah.
follow our advice and
Yep.
look into things in detail versus just sucking it up and
Yeah.
saying, well, the rate's higher. I guess I'm stuck renting for another
Yeah.
however long.
Yeah.
Right?
No, yeah. No, I wouldn't. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
I mean, death, divorce, babies, marriage, job change, job loss, relocation,
So many
all
things.
this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, there's
Yeah.
plenty of reasons that people need to do something.
For sure.
And I guess, if there is like the want, then look into it. See if it makes sense.
Yeah.
Not sitting here guaranteeing that it will,
Yeah.
but I can guarantee you stand no shot if you don't look into it and just
not-
make an assumption.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah. You got to, you really have to look into it and see because I think people are surprised sometimes. The doom and gloom message that's out there right now isn't necessarily fully true.
And again,
know.
we're not here to like,
Yeah. Yeah.
bullshit anybody and
Huh.
be like, no, don't worry about the rates.
Yeah. We're going to give you real numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're going
It's
to,
just the message is like, look into it in detail.
for sure.
Stick with the same set of advice and the same game plan as always in
Yep.
terms of like, start with that monthly payment.
Yep.
Where are you comfortable?
Yep.
What do you have saved to make a purchase with?
Do you like the homes that fit in your budget?
Go from there.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
good that the strategy overall hasn't changed and really won't
same.
change.
Yeah.
No matter what the market condition is.
No.
Because if you're making moves just out of trying to take advantage of the market or whatever, but you're not really financially comfortable with the move that you're making, like
Yeah.
what?
And I think we saw a lot of people doing that. I do. I think
Truth
so.
will be told. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think they're working with us because that's been a conversation that
Yeah.
we've been having forever.
Yeah.
and we're super, like if anything, pushy on that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like, I tell the last thing I want is for you to call me a year from now and be like, made a tough move financially. This isn't working out.
Or I hate this house or whatever. I mean, I think, you always get people that sometimes are unhappy with the purchase afterwards, right?
Yeah.
It's very slim, right?
Yeah.
I like to make sure my people are happy with their homes, But it happens sometimes.
How we run our business.
Absolutely. But to come back and say financially now I'm upside, I'm buried.
Right.
I'm not putting food on the table for my family because this home is just dragging me down, or I can't do anything but come home at night and watch TV,
Well, and this is assuming there's not a life change too. Right?
Exactly.
If somebody loses their job,
Yes.
like that's a different circumstance.
It's a different,
You just
for sure.
get into it and then realize like the month after you buy, like, oh, this is what my payment's gonna be.
Oh boy. Or my taxes went up and nobody told me.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, those are conversations that should be
Yes.
had with every single buyer seller, right?
So, I guess overall to summarize,
yeah.
bad news, rates are up. Good news, process hasn't really changed.
Nope.
All that matters is what you're comfortable with financially.
For sure.
We find a fit from there.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah, that's simple.
give us a call, discuss anytime. Check us out, AnthonyButerraTeam.com. Thanks again, Steve Popowych.
All right.
As always, Jason Mancuso. Checking out. Thank you.